the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that. And Obama,
Yes.
both of them. Okay, but Biden much worse, not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways. Okay?
All right. For one, my apologies. My apologies for the people that watch this channel and to all my mods and to the whole world. And most of all, to the presidency for my outburst of anger that I don't believe it really was my anger. I think I was binding it for a lot of people in trying to keep it bound from the rest of the world. And it just got too evil and I couldn't bind it no more. I had to let it go. And my apologies. Right? I'm not a professional binder or whatever they call this stuff. And like I said, very apologetic for my outburst on this channel. And if I did say anything to upset anybody, my apologies. But I've been holding this in for so long, trying to keep this evil out of America and away from this area. But it is demonic, and I had to release it. It was just too much. I'm not a big cursor. I don't like swearing. I don't like cursing. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. When I was younger, I did, but I don't do that no more. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do hard drugs. I don't do any of that crap no more. I have a disability. I can't. It'll kill me. And I kept this all in and kept it away from the world. And I can't do it no more by myself. It's just me. So, yeah, I feel a lot better. I know I'm going to have to answer for it. But it was a lot of evil, folks. And just too much for this little man. So my apologies. And we stand behind any president that is in office. That is our job. To stand behind whatever president, whatever man or woman is in office, to back them 100%. It's just the way we were taught. And that's pretty much what we have to do. So once again, my apologies if I upset anybody and for my rude and ignorant words that were very bad, very evil, very disgusting and racist and mad. But you have to also understand that I also am like you people. I am poor, right? I might be famous amongst people as a funny man, as a music, as just crazy person that people like to hang out with. But I've been keeping this inside of me for so long. And I released it. I didn't want it no more. I don't want it. It wasn't even mine. Right? It's not even my family's madness. It was this country's. And I did the best I could. But there was no way I can hold on to it no more. It was literally killing me. And I had an outburst, a releasing. I wish I didn't, but I did. Something triggered me. Maybe it was being dropped from my health care. Maybe it was all a mistake and they didn't drop me. Whatever it may be. I am just like every American. I'm human. And I had a meltdown. I couldn't take the pressure no more. And once I got this notification in the mail that my Medicaid, Medicare was dropped and whatever they call it, the government food thing that they give you, SNAP or whatever it is, was canceled or whatever, and I got all this in the. It just sent me over the deep end. Now I understand. Excuse me. These people that have very little, they cherish the government. Why? Because they're helping us. We're poor. That's why we back the government, right? And these people that are rich, they don't understand us. They don't understand that we have no choice, right? If we don't want to be eating out of garbage cans or sleeping in California on the side of the road somewhere, you obey orders and you obey the laws and don't break them. Because we're grateful for what we do get from the federal government. Some of us were very grateful. We voted when they asked us to vote, and we were very grateful for the help we were getting from the federal government because we are not dumb. We're dumb, but not that dumb. And the federal government pulling assistance, I told you folks, this is what they will do if you upset them. And it wasn't even some of us that they did this to. It was other people that were abusing. They were abusing the funding that they were getting. And Mr. Trump and the government figured it out. These government funded apartment complex, equal housing developments, projects, whatever you want to call them. From what I get, from what people are telling me, they were pocketing the money. It was not going to where it was supposed to go. So that's probably why Mr. Trump canceled all of federal funding until he figures out where, what, how, when, whatever. He's also talked on the news about security. If these are government affiliated, funded projects, apartments, then why are we not securing them and having a security team for the property? No, we don't want to pry into your life. I don't care if you guys are out drinking a beer on your front porch and barbecuing or smoking even a wacky tobacco cigarette because most of your health cares have canceled you and you gotta survive and you need something to take the pain. And that's where cannabis is big, right? And the pills. But I notice a lot of people are turning towards the cannabis because it's legal up here. And we're only 5 minutes away from the border. And now they turn to alcohol to kill the pain or whatever it is. I understand. As long as you guys don't cause and get drunk and go crazy and running around the apartment complex yelling and screaming or looking in people's windows, you're not going to hear from me. I really don't care. But when you start causing trouble and trying to steal and you're yelling and screaming and running around the place, not in your own apartment, but out in the courtyard, out in the big area around here or whatever, or even outside your apartment. If you're doing crazy stuff, well then yeah, you'll probably be hearing from the security team or something. But I just wanted to say my apologies because I'm not a bad guy. And I do have a heart. And I'm not as mean as these people think I am. And if I can help out around here, I help out. If there's an emergency, when we have storms numerous times, I've helped these people out. If it be clearing the path away from fallen trees from their door so they can get out, or raking the leaves out of their bed or whatever, we help. Is it my job? Nope. No, it's not. But I do it to be nice. when I can, when I'm not curled up in a ball, sitting here on the couch in pain. Yeah, I could take a couple of leaves, the pain goes away, but then it affects my liver a little bit, and then I have troubles and pains in my liver and stuff. So I'm just trying to stay alive as long as I can, right? We're all poor. And my apologies for all the outbursts. And, things that just weren't going my way. I thought I could combine this thing. I thought I could handle this. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. And they had all this evil inside of me, and I didn't want it no more. I let it go. And my apologies. Is it running around in this town? Is it demonic? Is it evil? Yes, but it's not mine. Right? I did what I could. You have to remember, I got people trespassing on me. I got people in me. I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can do. So let's listen to our president, Mr. Trump. I'm sure he's doing the best he could. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
Us is over there. They don't need us involved in everyone.
Mr. President, was there a shortage of staff at the control tower at DCA last night? You're aware of?
Well, that's part of competence right there. They shouldn't have that happen. Right there is what I'm talking about. Competence would be you're not going to have a shortage. But if you had the right people, you wouldn't need as many people either.
Do you know if there was a shortage last night or not?
I don't know. No, I don't know. You're telling me something.
Mr. President, you said earlier today that you had not spoken to Putin about this. When was the last time you spoke with him? And has President Xi responded to your ask to help put pressure to end?
Yeah, I won't comment on either of them, but we're doing very well with regard to both.
There are some reports that Xi might ask of you in order to give that help, pressure to disavow potential Taiwan independence. Is that something that you
No, we never discussed it.
You had said earlier that we would get more details about the victims on the plane. Can you give more on that now?
Yeah, I have a lot of details, but it's something that'll be released to you also at the appropriate time. No, I have the full details.
There were a lot of young people.
Young people, great athletes, great skaters, very sad situation from numerous countries. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for seeing me twice today. It's going to be quite an important signing, so we thought we'd let you watch. If we could, I'd ask Will to explain the first, but really more importantly, explain the second, and we'll start signing. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Just 2 items for your signature today. The first is the formal commission appointing Chris Rochelot to be the Deputy Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration.
Right.
And since the commissioner position since the administrator position is currently vacant, he will act as the administrator since he's now been appointed deputy.
And he's a very capable guy.
Extremely experienced in aviation and highly regarded in the industry and in government.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Second, for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum orders is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA administrator, in this case, acting FAA administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that. And Obama,
Yes.
both of them. Okay, but Biden much worse, not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways. Okay?
Mr. President, to be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have, I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And, you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Mr. President, there's long been concerns about the amount of congestion out of DC airport. Do you think that there's too many flights coming out of that airport?
No, I think we need very smart people running the flights and doing it. The ones that aren't good, when they'll either do one of two things. They'll have too many coming in and they can't handle it, or they'll have the people waiting up in the air, which everyone's been caught in that situation, and circling the airports for an hour, and that's no good either.
Mr. President, are you aware?
Say-
Military helicopter training flights that are flying around National Airport all the time, what's your view? Should they be?
Well, my view is fine if they're in the right locations and if they're not at the same levels. I mean, if a plane coming in is at 300 feet or 400 feet and a helicopter's training at 300 or 400 feet, why wouldn't they be up 500 feet higher? So I certainly do, and that to a certain extent is the air traffic controller. Wait, please, wait just a second.
You feel like what happened last night was preventable?
I do, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And obviously, that was something that should not have happened. And we're not going to let it happen again. Yes, please.
Mr. President, on a slightly different subject, on your Canada and Mexico tariffs,
Yeah.
will oil be included or excluded from those tariffs?
So we'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
And will
Mr.
oil be
President?
part of that? No, because we get oil from Canada.
Oil is going to have nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned. Oil has nothing to do with it.
Mr. President, Mr. President, you said
Yesterday
that
regarding
confidence.
Guantanamo Bay, you want 30,000 new beds there. Is there a possibility that will increase, or is 30,000?
It could increase, yes.
What would be the maximum?
It depends, but countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. And then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, et cetera.
And when are you hoping to have Guantanamo Bay, this new facility, up and running? And
It'll be up pretty quickly.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Not very much. A lot of the structure is already there, as you know.
Mr. President, you said that incompetence may have played a role. Are you aware of any performance issues or disciplinary actions that were taken against anyone who was working the tower last night or flying the plane?
No, and I hope that's not the case in this case, but certainly over the years it's been the case. And it's the case with respect to close calls, and it's the case with respect to circling for hours on end. Planes circle a lot, and they circle because the people bringing them down, these people that have to be very, very smart, and it's not based on anything other than the brain. We need the smartest people. We need both psychologically smart and just brilliant, period. And we are going to have them in our control towers. We are going to have the most competent people in the country in our control towers, not people that are there for any other reason.
Mr. President, on that, you said that you envision sending the 80-something thousand IRS agents hired under Biden to the border. What role do you see them playing?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I may do that, or I may use different people, but we're going to send more. We're going to give the Border Patrol some help. Although now, if you look, they've taken in the lowest number since my administration. The numbers are very low. And at that level, we don't need so much help. people know not to come, because if they come, they're not going to make it in and they're going to be shipped out.
Mr. President, Egypt's president and the King of Jordan have both said that they won't take in displaced people from Gaza like you suggested. Is there anything you can do to make them do that? I mean, tariffs against those countries, for example?
They will do it. They will do it.
What makes you say that?
They're going to do it. Okay? We do a lot for them, and they're going to do it.
Mr. President, you've offered over 2 million federal workers the option to resign immediately.
Right.
There are 50,000 FAA employees. Does this tragedy give you reason to reconsider that option of resignations because of concerns
No,
about
there's
staffing
no-
issues
no.
and
If
airline
people-
safety?
If people aren't coming to work, if they're not going to come into the office and report as per the date that you know what it is, everybody knows what the date is, it's been very well documented, then they're going to be terminated.
You're not concerned though that if many people take that offer, there could be shortages that could lead to.
Then they'll be replaced with very competent people. We have a lot of competent people in this country.
Have you spoken to any of the families of the victims of the plane crash?
I don't want to comment on that.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site?
I have
Meet with any of the
I have a
first
plan
responders?
to visit, not the site, because you tell me, what's the site? The water?
Or to meet
Want
with
me
the
to go
first
swimming?
responders down there?
I don't have a plan to do that, but I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families, yeah.
On your birthright citizenship, sir, do you believe that there are 5 votes on the Supreme Court that would uphold your position?
On what?
5 votes on the Supreme Court.
What
that would-
position?
Birthright citizenship.
I think so, yeah. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people with perhaps unqualified children. This wasn't meant for that. This was meant, when it was originally done, for the children of slaves. And that was a very good and noble thing to do, and I'm in favor of that 100%. But it wasn't meant for the entire world to occupy the United States.
Do you see it requiring a constitutional amendment that would be,
I just think that we'll end up winning that court in the Supreme Court. I think we're going to win that case, and I look forward to winning it. This has been going on. We're at that level. We're the only country in the world that does this. There's no other country at this level. There's no other country in the world that does it. It's crazy.
Mr. President, if 64 people lost their lives last night, if you aren't confident that DEI had any role, why bring it up?
Well, all I'm talking about is competence. And we want in that particular position, we have to have the most competent people in our country because we're talking about lives. Now, it may or may not have had to do, but I don't like the fact that the helicopter was at the exact same level as the airplane. The helicopter should have been 1,000 feet or 500 feet above it or something below it. The plane was at 300 to 400 feet, or the plane should have been stopped because the helicopter could have stopped. The plane can't be stopped, but the plane was on a schedule that was, it was along a track. They call it a track. And it's the same track that every other plane's used for many years. It was.
I agree with Mr. Trump 100%. It's restricted air flight around there. That pattern is for commercial jets. It always has been for I don't know how long, just like Mr. Trump said. And should they be dashing across that area, the Potomac River, as planes are coming into land? No, they shouldn't be. And Mr. Trump is right about that, folks. I'm going to have to tell you, the truth is the truth. And that is the truth. It's been like that. Airports are restricted areas. And even anybody that comes into that flight plan, they have to acknowledge the tower and they have to obey what the tower says. And I do believe Mr. Trump is right. There could have been a halt. They could have said, stop the pattern for the helicopter. and hover until we give you the okay, until this jet comes in, the JT-234, whatever the number was that they were talking. And then the helicopter should have been allowed to come across the Potomac River and carry out its flight pattern to where it was going. But I also agree, and I've said that a couple days ago, nobody should be flying in that area except for commercial jets landing and taking off. And as you can see in the footage, you got one plane taking off, you got another one coming into land, and then you have a helicopter coming. And the new footage out, I don't understand what happened. That helicopter flew right into it. So I agree with Mr. Trump. There was numerous things they could have done to abort the flight plan until the jet came through. I think it was the last jet. One was told to divert and do a runaround and come back and land again. It did. You see it break away and start hooking around to make a re-entry as the one that was in a crash came into land, and the helicopter flew right into it. So I'm sorry, but I agree with Mr. Trump on that. Are there things that could have been done? Yes. Should they have been done a long time ago? Yes. And I agree 100%. Let's continue to listen.
Mr. President, was there a shortage of staff at the control tower at DCA last night? You're aware of?
Well, that's part of competence right there. They shouldn't have that happen. Right there is what I'm talking about. Competence would be you're not going to have a shortage. But if you had the right people, you wouldn't need as many people either.
Do you know if there was a shortage last night or not?
I don't know. No, I don't know. You're telling me something.
Mr. President, you said earlier today that you had not spoken to Putin about this. When was the last time you spoke with him? And has President Xi responded to your ask to help put pressure to end?
Yeah, I won't comment on either of them, but we're doing very well with regard to both.
There are some reports that Xi might ask of you in order to give that help, pressure to disavow potential Taiwan independence. Is that something that you
No, we never discussed it.
You had said earlier that we would get more details about the victims on the plane. Can you give more on that now?
Yeah, I have a lot of details, but it's something that'll be released to you also at the appropriate time. No, I have the full details.
There were a lot of young people.
Young people, great athletes, great skaters, very sad situation from numerous countries. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much for seeing me twice today. It's going to be quite an important signing, so we thought we'd.
All right, there you go. I do agree with him on some of that stuff, 100%. My apologies for my outburst once again on this channel. It really did a number on me, I'll tell you what. But I'm still here. I'm willing to give my advice and my opinion on things that happen in this world. And that was a note pretty much going out to anyone that thinks they're going to destroy America, ISIS, or any other organization, whether afar or right in our own borders. Mr. Trump ain't going to put up with it. And I back him 100% on that also. And hopefully we get to the bottom of all this stuff and we can do away with this evil. I'm not professional enough to hold all that evil. That's a lot of evil. That evil should be taken to the church and let the Lord try and handle it. And always, we need to always pray to the Lord, to God, and keep him in our hearts and minds, and we could use his help in America. Now, you folks have a great day or a great night. God bless. I'm in bad shape right now, so I'm going to try and do something to help myself. And I'll talk to you folks later. Have a good day.